has been far too long since the last time I talked about Kagurabachi, because in the time between my last video about it and this one, so much genuinely incredible stuff has gone down. Not only can I simply not fit it all into this video, but everything that's gone down in the manga has reinforced the notion that Kagurabachi truly is the greatest new gen out right now. Others can try and compete, but Hokuzono and his manga are just in a league of their own. Compliments, for the moment, aside though, in today's video I'll be going over why I believe that the influences Hokuzono has kept in mind while creating this masterpiece are what help Kagurabachi stand out so much, as well as the excellence of this current arc. And a certain character is the glue that kind of holds these 2 points together. Now, with all that said, let's get right into it. Before we actually continue though, make sure to leave a like. It really helps out these videos, and it lets me know you guys want to see more Kagurabachi content. Now, back to it. So, well, I did just blatantly say that I'll be talking about the many influences that have inspired Kagurabachi. In all actuality, I'm really only going to be talking about one. Because, aside from that one, the other extremely notable influence that Hokuzono himself has noted he drew from is one Quentin Tarantino, a filmmaker held in extremely high esteem who's garnered award after award. And while I can almost certainly give an accurate guess as to which films from Tarantino's coterie of works the author has drawn upon to create his own vision, I personally can't talk about those films, 'cause I've never seen them. The only one I believe I've ever seen from Tarantino was The Hateful Eight. If memory serves me well, the contents of that particular piece of film hold no relevance to this topic. Even so, as mentioned prior, there's still one other notable influence to be talked about, and really, in my opinion, the influence that this series has had upon Kagurabachi far outweighs any other, that being John Wick. At the time of this recording, I've seen all 4 films. The correct ranking, by the way, is 2, 4, 1, 3. If you've ever seen the John Wick movies and then read Kagurabachi, it's beyond clear how much impact those movies had on Hokuzono. Like, just replace all the guns in John Wick with swords, and that at times, especially during some action sequences, is exactly what Kagurabachi feels like. And that particular feeling is one of the many reasons this series stands out so much in the vast landscape of modern shonen. Similar to the movies, the manga isn't trying to reinvent the wheel when it comes to action. They've found a signature style and excelled in that style by refining its finer points, like the displaying of shots, the brutality, the individual powers, and the ambiance of every single fight scene. Both improved on what's important for their action, and it's paid off incredibly well for the flow of their fights and the audience that watches and reads them. It keeps people engaged and waiting for that next point of contact between opponents or that brutal and unexpected moment. And Kagurabachi's most recent arc is probably doing this better than anything that the series has had to offer up until this point. Which is why, along with a laundry list of other really awesome details, the Swordbearer assassination arc, that isn't even halfway over, is already my favorite in the series. Because the action, as well as the stakes, have never been higher. And in addition, the new characters are just so enjoyable, and there's some great writing that comes along with them. Since Chihiro is now in partnership with the Kamunabi for the sake of the Sacred Blades, the Hishaku have launched a full-scale assault on 2 of the previous users of said Sacred Blades. As a result, Chihiro, Hokuri, and others do their best to keep these users alive and push back the deadly assault. However, despite their respective lack of immense power, these 2 previous owners are anything but helpless. In all actuality, aside from Chihiro, these 2, Yoji and Samura, have been handling business like they never even lost any power at all. Samura, I hope I'm saying that name correctly by the way, specifically has quickly risen to become one of my favorite characters in this whole damn manga. Not just because of the brilliant art and action Hokuzono has delivered for him, time and time again I might add, but what does it for me as much as the action is the awesome writing that deals with the duality of him. In order to be what he needs to be, he has to accept what he is and the results of such an action. He blinds himself to stave off worldly passions and desires, but accepts the fact that even in doing so he cannot leave behind his call to action, which in turn causes him to commit the most worldly passion, the taking of life. So, in turning a blind eye to the things of this world, he becomes the most effective at its worst indulgence. It's brilliantly well done, it's extremely interesting character writing, and it's done for someone I was the most interested in seeing. I will say though, as much as I do love what Hokazono has done with Samura, it's a shame that he was introduced so quickly, because Yoji was also introduced in this same arc, and so far hasn't gotten anywhere near the same amount of attention. The introduction of his character was really awesome, and it made me very hyped to see what else he would do in this story while he and Hokori and Chihiro were being chased and then they split up. I was really interested in what he was going to bring to the table. Then Samura joined the battle, and ever since then Yoji has been delegated to the background. But as previously stated, I believe this arc isn't even halfway over, so there's still plenty of time to make Yoji just as much, if not even more, of an interesting character. If I had to give a reason as to why I think Samura has gotten so much love from the author though, my answer would tie back to John Wick, specifically Chapter 4, because that movie brings in possibly the coolest character outside of John Wick himself, Kane, who is played by none other than one of the most underrated actors of all time, Donnie Yen. To get back on topic though, the resemblance between Samura and Kane is uncanny. They don't relate too much on a writing level, although some connections could definitely be made, but the way that they fight and their respective levels of badass are far more comparable. So I can definitely see the inspiration drawn upon from Kane, and when you include an older blind guy with a sword, it seems like there's an unspoken rule that says that that archetype of character has to become the coolest guy in the story and take center stage, no matter what's going on in the plot. And you know what I say to that rule? Good. Anyways, Kagurabachi is just insanely good, and right now it's better than it's ever been. And I wish I had talked about it on here again sooner, because the development of Chihiro in this arc, which I haven't even mentioned yet, has been so awesome to see unfold. And you mix that with his current nemesis, who is very much tied to that development, it's a 4-star recipe being cooked up every single week, and if you haven't started the series yet, you're missing out on some great eating. With all that said though, that's going to do it for this one, so thank you all very much for watching. I hope that you all enjoyed. If you did, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe with the notifications on, and I will see you all in the next one. Peace out, everybody!